dear readers, we have today one of our distinguished guests. Her name is Jessica Melnyk. She's a registered holistic nutritionist at Jessica Melnyk Nutritional Consulting. And she has been in helping people specifically with arthritis, and her approach is very unique. Her approach is holistic. So we will learn about that. So many of our readers, so many times we have talked, you are worried about it, you are seeking information about arthritis and everything. For those who want to understand health in a very holistic way, today's interview will be really a gem for them. We are so blessed, so happy to have Jessica here. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you so much, Suman. I really appreciate you having me here today.
Okay, so let's first start with the very first thing, that holistic approach to nutrition. That means, can you share how your holistic approach to nutrition differs from more traditional approaches of nutrition, and how this impact the overall wellness plan that you create for your clients, please?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So with holistic nutrition, we really look to the whole person. So of course, the physical body is a main focus when it comes to illnesses that we're dealing with. It's kind of the most obvious thing. But what I think conventional medicine and traditional approaches often don't take into consideration is how our mindset, our lifestyle is all interconnected to our physical body and how it is responding and how it is functioning or not functioning. So with a holistic approach to nutrition, we use nutrition as the cornerstone, and we use an approach that's very specific to the health conditions that the person is dealing with. So we don't use a generalized approach. We use a very specific nutrition protocol. So in my case, I use a very specific nutrition protocol for arthritis and autoimmunity. And of course, the plans can be tweaked if the client has other health concerns along with the arthritis or autoimmune conditions, because it is really common when we are dealing with a chronic illness to have multiple illnesses, because again, they're all connected, the whole mind, body, spirit. And so we have the very specific nutrition protocol, but then we also take into account the client's lifestyle. We look at their stress level. We look at their mental health as well. And so we have those types of discussions when we are doing the consulting work so that we can address those areas as well, because they have such a huge impact on how we feel physically. So we just take into, it's a very well-rounded approach in addition to the specific nutrition protocol.
Meaning that you're very much, so much like, as a layman, I'm understanding, as a very common person for our common readers, that whenever a client contacts you about any issues or to seek your guidance in anything, so you take the person as in a total person, like the person, his or her unique condition, their unique lifestyle, their unique life situation, considering everything. Your guidance to their wellness is very customized, individualistic, personalized.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's my previous life and careers as a social worker. So it stems from that too, really looking at what a person's life is all about, and, what can we change or adjust about that? What about their mindset and their perceptions of their situation? What can we work on? How can we help in that way as well?
Fantastic. So, can you like explain? We will just go a bit, just a one layer deep to it. Like, can you explain the core principles of anti-arthritis methods and how it helps people address the root of their joint pain without medication?
Absolutely.
Great.
So a lot of the clients I work with do either want to avoid medication, or reduce or go off of medication because they're worried about side effects, or they've had bad reactions to medications. I even have some clients who are okay with being on some medication, but they want more control over their symptoms. So what we do with my approach is we are going to try to remove any and all what I call aggravators. out of their system so that their body can calm down and stop creating that inflammation and the triggers to the pain. So for example, if we're removing a food that is, maybe a healthy food, and they don't realize that it's actually triggering their symptoms and their pain, when we remove any and all triggers like that, for example, our immune system will stop attacking the body, which is where we get the pain in a lot of cases with arthritis, because we're removing those triggers. The immune system can calm down and stop attacking the body's own tissues. And when that happens, then our inflammation and our pain subsides. So removing those aggravators is the first thing that we do through the nutrition protocol. But then the other layer is that we have group support and we have one-to-one support with myself. Because as I think most of us know, anytime we make any major changes with how we eat or our lifestyle, it can be hard to stick with it after that initial excitement phase wears off. I think we're always excited at the beginning to try something new and you're starting to feel better and you get excited about it, but then life happens. And
Mm,
there's some bumps in the road and it might get a little bit more challenging to stay on track. So that's why it's really, really important that we have that continuity with support so that people can reach out and ask any questions whatsoever that they have about the nutrition protocol, how to integrate it into their life, just even getting support for emotional reasons as well, because that's part of it too.
yeah,
You know, all those things can come up as we're dealing with these things, because change can be hard. Change can be really challenging for people.
yeah.
And there can be, a sense of grief as well when we make changes in our lifestyle, because things are different and maybe we're feeling the loss of some things that we might be leaving behind as we make lifestyle changes to improve our health. So having that group support, that community support, and
Mm.
that one-to-one support to keep you on track is really, really critical, as well as just really getting down into helping people integrate that process into their lifestyle so it becomes part of their new lifestyle and it seems seamless. It's even subtle things like learning how to do meal prep in a simple way. Like sometimes people take for granted it sounds really simple, but really figuring out the nuances and how to fit it into your life and to make those changes and bring them forward is something that we really help people with. So figuring out how to fit it into their day-to-day lives, how to fit it into, when life happens and things kind of go off the rails, how to get back on track, how to figure out what to do when you're on vacation or when you're traveling, like all these different things that come up. These are all things that we address in the program. So I'd say kind of my core principles are removing the aggravators, having support, and really being able to integrate it into your lifestyle.
Perfect. In these 3 points, we can now, like our readers and we are now like grasping the idea what you really mean by holistic. Like it's really, it sounds really like you're trying to cover like all the grounds like so far to make the overall wellness possible. So then, as we always in the business school, we think that, okay, let's start with why. So what inspired you to create such a marvelous program, so in depth, rooted into each person and taking care an individual like an individual, and to create this anti-arthritis method? And how does it evolve with you and everything? If you just enlighten our readers a bit.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I myself brought about the anti-arthritis method program because of my own health issues. And I think that's common with a lot of people. We want to help with what we've experienced and what we've been through. So I've always had a passion for health and wellness, nutrition. It's always been an interest of mine. And I myself, about, 10 years ago now, had started experiencing arthritis symptoms, and it was really scary. There was times where I couldn't use my hands or my wrists because I was so inflamed and in pain. Not being able to do my regular exercise because I had swollen joints and just I couldn't. Sometimes not being able to walk, depending on, if my ankle was swollen and inflamed, my hip sometimes. So I have an autoimmune form of arthritis. They haven't been able to really pin down exactly what kind because it can kind of be mysterious. And thankfully, because of the nutrition protocol that I use and teach my clients, I've been largely in remission for the last decade. But I really wanted to share this with other people because I knew how terrifying it was to experience it myself. The sense of the loss of independence, worrying that I wasn't going to be able to work because my body wasn't functioning properly, having fears about the future and that insecurity. And also, I think it really can take a toll on somebody's self-esteem when they're feeling disabled, essentially, and not able to do the activities that they want to do to take care of themselves and also to take part in social activities and things that are really important like that as well. So I know the way I felt at the time when my doctor was telling me that essentially there was nothing I could do besides, taking medication lifelong. And I was really worried about the side effects of taking medications for a really long time. And also just not feeling like I had as much control, even with medications. I wanted to be able to have more control over my symptoms and how my body felt instead of constantly being in fear that I might have a flare up that's going to pop up at any time and not knowing if that was going to happen or when it was going to happen, which joint it was going to be affecting. And so I really, really dug into the literature on that. And thankfully at that time, or partway through my first experiences with arthritis, I did go back to the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition and worked on my holistic nutrition certification there. And I learned and had the resources to figure out what actually was creating this problem for myself and what could I do. Things that unfortunately our doctors they don't learn about. They're wonderful for so many things. But there's just they can't know everything, right? And that's where alternative healthcare practitioners come in, is to complement the work that they do so that we have other options and other choices and methods to help ourselves feel better and to improve our health. So it really came out of fixing my own problem and really wanting to share that with other people so that they didn't have to suffer the way that I do or the way that I did at the time, and that they would have other options to improve their health.
Straight out of life experience.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is a very strong why. That is a very strong why. Thank you for sharing that wonderful, wonderful background why for all of our readers.
Of course.
Now you have thank you. You have crafted this whole thing. So, and this holistic approach for arthritis, considering a person as a whole, and you are now doing it since 2020.
Mhm.
Okay. So, like using your method, using your holistic approach, can you share a success story that you want to share to our readers, please?
Absolutely. I had a lot I've been thinking of because I normally interview my clients
Yeah.
when they graduate from the program, and so that they can share that. I find those interviews so powerful. And I was having trouble deciding who to talk about. But I would say the overall themes of the success stories, I would say the first thing that my clients notice are an increase in energy. So physical, mental energy. And also what comes with that energy is also improved mood. I find a lot with arthritis, a lot of my clients can feel depressed because they've been dealing with pain for so long and they're struggling, and everything takes longer, everything is more difficult. Sometimes people have trouble asking for help, wanting to kind of maintain that independence and just feeling that struggle a lot of the time. So having that lift, having that, that energy, that mood come back, along with the decrease in inflammation, the decrease in joint swelling, the decrease in pain. And then that's when the mobility starts to come back. So really getting back to activities from just basic day-to-day stuff, it becomes easy again. Just easy things like keeping your house clean,
Yeah.
getting ready for work that doesn't take forever, not having to wake up and do stretches in bed for an hour just to like get your stiff body going, being able to get out of bed, having good sleeps because you're not in pain all night long and it's waking you up because you're in pain. So just having that, is just so much more ease in life with the basic things. And then, being able to thrive more at work, not worrying about whether or not you're going to be able to fulfill your duties at work, and not worrying about not being able to support yourself in the future. And then too, another really important thing is having energy at the end of the day to still have a social life and spend time with your loved ones if you want to, because often when you're dealing with arthritis, if you make it through the day, you're pushing through all day long, you're totally exhausted by the time you get home. And the last thing you want to do is really anything, like you just want to lay down, you want to rest because you're tired, your body hurts, and everything is just much more difficult. So being able to get back to those things that you really love and having the energy to engage with, your family, your friends, and do the activities that resume the activities that you like to do that you haven't been able
Yes.
to do because of the pain. So that's kind of, I'd say, the overall theme that I get with my success stories. And I think some of the unexpected things that have come up too, that I've noticed with my clients over the years, is having other health conditions resolve themselves.
Oh,
I've had clients that had high blood pressure where at the end of 3 months, they were able to go off their blood pressure medication because they didn't need it anymore. Being able to go off their cholesterol medication because they didn't need it anymore. Going from being pre-diabetic to having completely normal blood sugar.
oh,
Having their family members or their spouses who do it with them be able to stop taking medications for health conditions because they don't need it anymore. So kind of there's all sorts of unexpected benefits too that can come about, which is wonderful. But again, it's because our body and our body systems are all interconnected.
yes. Absolutely, absolutely. So all the good reasons, having an enhanced level of energy at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, better mood, better sleep, better movement capacity, kind of the life is sorted. And as your approach is very holistic, I think that is one of the very grounding reason that whenever the arthritis is being solved, the connected other health issues are taking care of itself,
Yes.
because overall your approach is very holistic. So you are not treating only that, you are treating the overall wellness of the person. That's the summary I got.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, because our bodies are all connected. You can't have one part suffering without other parts suffering, just like if you
Yeah.
have one part benefiting, then other parts benefit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So, and I think in my understanding so far with your conversation, your main like strength is the holistic approach, holistic wellness approach. So you're taking everything into account and everything. That's
Mhm.
great to know. Seriously, that's great to know. And obviously in our experience, how does human system obviously better than any of us, like we are the common people, but in your experience, how does nutrition impact mental health, and what are the some key nutritional element that can contribute to the mental well-being? It is a question like from our common readers, like our general readers, if you
Yeah.
please enlighten us.
Oh, it's such a good question, and I'll try not to ramble because I could talk about it forever.
Easily understandable. That is why it's a key ingredient internet, as much as you want to share, please.
Absolutely. So, with like obviously the holistic approach, we look at, the whole mind, body, spirit connection. And when our physical body isn't well, that really affects our mental health. It affects our mood because it's all connected. Just like I think if we are having a really happy life and things are going well,
Yes.
usually we have more energy, we just feel better in general physically. So if we look at, for example, arthritis, and we look at how that is affecting our physical body. So let's say I have somebody who comes to me, they've been dealing with arthritis for a few years. They've had, this steady decrease in their mobility, their ability to do things. They're more worried about what the future is going to look like. They're in pain. So there's fear that comes with that. Of course, that's an emotion that affects our mood, that affects our energy levels. And it also is really common for people with arthritis or any other chronic illness to develop depression or struggle with depression because of all the restrictions that that illness can really give a person. So not being able to do exercise that they would normally do or be physically active, which improves our mood. We know that. Not wanting to be as social. So becoming more socially isolated because you don't have the energy and sometimes the ability to do activities with your family or your friends that you would normally want to do. And so then we become more isolated. So that contributes more to that feeling depressed and having low mood. And so it becomes this vicious cycle, kind of withdrawing because we are losing our ability and having that low mood, and then just continuing to kind of fall down that spiral downwards. So if I look at even the foods that we eat, and not even with arthritis necessarily, but just in general, we now know that if we eat things like a large amount of refined carbohydrates and sugar, that might make us feel really happy and relaxed while we're eating that, and maybe for a little while after. You might even feel that little energy boost after you consume that, because that's how those refined carbohydrates and sugars act in the body. It makes us, produce serotonin, the feel-good chemicals and hormones, and might give us that little short boost of energy. But not very long later, we're going to feel really tired and lethargic once our blood sugar drops, because those things are creating a blood sugar surge and then a blood sugar drop. And that really affects our mood. So we're going to have low energy. We're going to just feel kind of sluggish, and maybe our brain isn't even going to be as sharp as it would be if our blood sugar levels were stable. So when we're eating in a way where we're getting good protein, healthy fats, and fiber, our blood sugar levels are going to be more stable, which also is going to help stabilize our mood and also give us even energy as well. So we're not going to have like the big surge and the big drop. So even just knowing that, how food can affect our blood sugar and blood sugar affects our mood and our energy level, is a really powerful tool that people can use. So something as simple as just making sure that we're not eating refined carbs and sugars by themselves or in large quantities can really make a huge difference in how we feel and how our energy level is. So that's one example. But like I said, and I see the connection between nutrition and our health and mental health. When we're not feeling well, it's only natural that, mentally we're not going to be doing as well. So I really see a very strong connection with that.
Oh, thank you very much. Can you please explain what is good protein that you have said? Like good protein.
Good protein. So depending on what type of diets people prescribe to, having good quality animal protein sources. So, organic, pasture raised, grass fed. So we're looking at like grass fed beef, pasture raised chicken or pork, wild caught fish and seafood. Those are all wonderful sources of protein that aren't going to have a lot of hormones or antibiotics or chemicals added to them, wild caught fish versus farmed fish, those types of things. So good protein that's going to keep you stabilized. If you're a vegetarian, things like different beans like lentils, chickpeas or garbanzo beans, those can be good sources of protein. Edamame beans as well if you're a vegetarian. So things like that are more likely to keep your blood sugar stable than not having not having protein and eating, let's say, a bagel with some butter on it for breakfast. That's kind of a disaster for being hungry halfway through the morning and having a need for a really strong coffee by 10 a.m.
Definitely. It's not a very good thing. Now I'm learning a lot on this as well. So whenever you are doing, like, this is the time, as you are saying, like the time itself, the overall environment we are living in itself, and the lifestyle, urban lifestyle specifically that we have, it's kind of stress oriented. We are stressed. So whenever you are counseling anyone in terms of how you consider mental health whenever you are doing a counseling or consulting nutritionally, like you are doing a nutritional consulting, so how do you incorporate mental health considerations into that, if you please outline?
Absolutely. So sometimes it's incorporating some nutritional supplements that can help our body adapt to stress better. So for example, our body goes through a lot of B vitamins when we're stressed. It needs a lot of B vitamins. So sometimes if I have a client who's going through a really particularly stressful season of life, having a good quality methylated B complex supplement can be really helpful to help the body adapt. And B complex vitamins help with improve our mood as well. They're considered an adaptogen, so they really help the body adapt to stress and just kind of, I guess, replenish some of those vitamins that we would normally go through. Because our body, when we are stressed, our body is going through a lot of nutrients because it's trying to provide our brain and our body with what it needs. So that's a supplement that is great. One of my favorite supplements is magnesium. It comes in many different forms, and I would talk to my clients about what their kind of specific needs would be, so I would know which type of magnesium to recommend for them. But magnesium before bed can be a wonderful tool to help your muscles relax, to help you sleep as well. So that's something that can help with stress, because obviously we need good quality sleep to help with stress as well, to help the body and brain recover. So I really take that into consideration. But as well, I think that's really, really important. And I work with a lot of women, I would say mostly women, because statistically there's more women than men who are plagued with arthritis, especially autoimmune forms. And what we really need to look at and what we really talk about is, how are they taking care of themselves? Are they taking any time for themselves? And I'm not even talking like necessarily, oh, I want you to go and go to a spa and have a facial or something like that. That's great if that's what you want to do. But I often start my clients off, especially if they're very, very busy, especially if they're like a busy mom and have younger kids, just carving out, starting with 10 minutes a day, just for you, whether it's waking up 10 minutes earlier, or just having 10 minutes at some point in the day where you can just focus on yourself, maybe do a guided meditation, go for a walk, have a bath, like anything that helps you relax and something that you enjoy, or even just watching like a funny show, that makes you laugh, can be really helpful. And everybody's different in terms of what makes them feel good and what helps them de-stress. So just carving out that small amount of time. I really see with so many women, and we talk about this on our group calls as well in my program. Um, as women, we're socialized to be the caregivers, wives, mothers, and so many women are doing things like working, being a mom, taking care of the household. And not to say that their husbands or partners aren't helping, but still statistically nowadays, women are doing the brunt of a lot of that stuff and the majority of a lot of those activities.
Can't agree
And
more.
and we're
Can't agree more.
socialized to put ourselves last. We're socialized to put everybody before us. And that can be really, really detrimental to our health if we're never on the priority list. So that is really difficult for a lot of the clients that I work with, because they have been these caregivers for so long that it's almost foreign to them to make themselves a priority. So it's a larger issue, and it can take some time, I think, for my clients to get used to making themselves a priority and taking time for themselves. Because you really can't, I don't think, improve your health unless you make it a priority. And it, but that's the beautiful thing about it too, though, that does appeal to the caregiver type people, is that if we're healthy, then we can continue taking care of everybody else, and everybody else around us benefits. So sometimes if that's how I have to get in the door with people to get them to look after themselves, then that's a perspective that we have to look at. So it's really looking at changing our perspective on self-care and the importance of it, and where our thought processes around that, and trying to change some of those thought processes to get to a place where we're okay making ourselves a priority and our health a priority. Does that make sense?
Fantastic. For that, we will just, yeah. In relation to that, you're about to say something? Sorry.
Oh, no, I just asked if that made sense. I know I kind of talked a bit in a circle there.
No. It is making absolutely sense. I can instantly relate to two of the most magnificent caregivers in my life, my mom and my wife. And whatever you said, they're the living example of that. And I think, as you mentioned, I can't agree more. I just unmuted my mic and said that because I had to put my thought in it, because I can't agree more. They're the woman or the caregiver. And if you have to get into their, like, the things that you are going to inject their own care, like caring, if you have to think like that, if you have to tell them like that, that if you are taking care of yourself and if you're better, you can take care of the other people in a better way.
Mhm.
So even if that is the approach to be in them, definitely. So it helped me as a person as a lot, because I want to tell these two things to these two magnificent women in my life. So no, thank you. Thank you very much. And it makes so much sense. Like, you were like, some of the things, that important things, you need to hear more than one time to register.
Mhm.
So it made so much sense. So now our kind of question is like one of the wrapping one is that, can you provide an example of a situation where changes in nutrition had a noticeable impact on the client's mental health? Like any example, and what was the change? And what was the
Yeah. So again, this is another one where I feel it's a general theme with my clients. They really end up building their own self-confidence through the process. But one example is one of my most recent clients, and I have an interview with her on my YouTube channel if anyone ever wants to check it out. And I love this story because she started off feeling, she was really doubting herself. She was really doubting whether or not she could actually follow through with the program, because she didn't want to fail. And I think a lot of the people I work with have very high standards for themselves, as I'm sure we can relate. We want to achieve, we want to do well, we want to, feel good about ourselves. We want other people to be proud of us as well. And I think with having arthritis or chronic illness, a lot of times, people are shy about it, or sometimes they feel ashamed about it. I don't think they should be, but they do, and so this client in particular, she didn't really talk to her coworkers about it. She was quite conservative, and didn't really share her health situation with many people, because she didn't want them to worry about her ability to do her job, or just worry about her in general. So she, was kind of feeling self-conscious about her health, and wanted to not really share that. And so what we've noticed through the process is that she was kind of resistant at first, and she wasn't feeling the results immediately. She said she noticed the energy improving right away. And so she noticed that within the first few weeks, kind of the mental and the physical energy coming back. But she wasn't noticing a difference in her joints right away. So she was kind of, those doubts were creeping in again. She was worried that, oh, maybe maybe this is, I wasted my time. Maybe this won't work for me. Maybe, I'm doing it wrong, and just doubting herself. But what she did, and this is why the group component of the program and the support part of the program is so important, is that she kept coming to the group calls. She came to her one-on-one calls with me. She kept reaching out for help. Even when she was in a bad mood and she was struggling and having a bad day, she still showed up, and which is exactly what I want my clients to do. I always say, I'm worried about you if I don't hear from you, because sometimes it means that you're not doing well, but you're not getting help. So I want you to come if you're having a bad day, and I want you to tell me about it so we can talk through this. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And so she stuck with it. And she said it was about the week 10 mark in the program where all of a sudden things shifted. And she noticed a huge significant difference in her mobility and how she felt overall. So she's back to, golfing 18 holes. She's back to swimming, because she said, she's like, I couldn't even walk to the swimming pool from the change room before. And she's like, I'm back to swimming. I can get through 18 holes. It's not a struggle. She's super excited for the summer because she can do these things that she loves to do that she wasn't doing last year, because now her mobility is back and her pain has subsided. So she's able to do these things. And she said even her family noticed, she was with her grown sons a while ago, and they're like, I can just tell, like, Mom, you have so much more energy. She's more positive. She feels more positive overall. She's doing more at work, because before there was different events at work that she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to make it through, because she wouldn't be able to stand long enough or have the energy to sustain doing certain things. So she's back to doing these events at work, and she's just really enjoying her social time. She's enjoying her connections with her coworkers. She's enjoying the activities and the connections with her family. And she's so proud of herself because she stuck with it even when it was challenging, and she reached out for support, and she proved to herself that she could do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we all need, that support sometimes, and that guidance, and it kept her on track. And then she was able to prove to herself that she was able to follow through. And so I think that confidence that she built in herself, that self-belief, is huge. Like she says now, she's like, I feel like I've accomplished the world. And that's just to hear a client say that is just the most wonderful gift that you can get as a practitioner, is to hear that.
Fantastic, fantastic hearing these examples from you and everything. So, Jessica, thank you for being with us, and thank you for enlightening our readers that very holistically, and more importantly, can be connected with the overall well-being, and they can get better with it, like through a consistent program, and through that other health issues most likely be solved, like, or attenuated or anything. Thank you very much for your
Oh,
time.
you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Suman. I really appreciate it. Being able to share my work.
Yeah. So there, I'm not stopped the recording, but there the program ends, and it will be like that. So next step will be, our team will make a transcription of it, and it will be published as your interview. My questions will be like shortened. There will be certain words in my question that will be prompt, and it will be written like a written interview or something, but it will be published as your interview. And your next step is that, have you sent me pictures of yours? I'm just not kidding.
No, I haven't sent you
Yeah.
any pictures. No.
Okay, so it was a request 3 pictures, because the moment we have it, so already my team is working, so they're also listening to your interview, by the way. They're just shy of it. They're standing there.
Hi.
Okay, they're saying hi. So what they will do, that they will be picking up some most important lines.
Mhm.
And with your pictures, we will first go to the social media. So our Instagram page, our LinkedIn page, with your picture and with those lines that you just, that's very beautiful lines are there. We call it Instagram lines. So it's full of it. So we will be doing that. So if you can please send me your headshot, your professional headshot, even in the LinkedIn that you have used, that is also fine. Or you have a different one, fantastic.
Okay.
And 2 others in your professional setting, or like as you as a person. So it can be like a chest long shot, a full knee long shot, whatever it is, in your
Okay.
workplace with your gown, or like whatever it is. But those 3 pictures we will be start first working on. And in that email, you have just mentioned you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
You
Yeah.
guys know? Okay, so I was just asking to my team. So can you please mention whatever the social media platform you are in? Because at the end of your interview, I'll check the editorial policy again and with my team. We will like to include everything
Yeah,
so that
absolutely.
if any reader wants to reach you in any media, they
Mhm.
can reach you.
Perfect.
Because like as a head editorial, my principle is we are launching this on our plan is to launch this on Canada Day, 1st July.
Oh, wonderful.
So my idea and our team's idea is as we grow, the people who first very, very kindly helped us, they also grow. It's a teamwork.
Yeah,
So we
absolutely.
we want to include all of your touch points that a person can be in touch with you here. Your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your YouTube channel, everything. And if you like the professional email you have, if you have any other, even that.
Okay.
So it will be in our website and it will be there, like along with your interview. So we are planning to do that.
Okay, wonderful. I should be able to get that to you later today. I'll respond to your last email and I'll include that because yeah, I have like a free Facebook group.
Okay.
I've got a YouTube channel where I post like client interviews, and
Fantastic.
I have other interviews with a colleague of mine on there, just talking about all things autoimmunity and arthritis. I do have
Fantastic.
Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and of
And I
course, my
think
professional email.
I think the best part is that we will be going for an interactive PDF after 2, 3 issues, but our first it is a website. So all of your links will be hyperlinked. They can easily click and go.
Wonderful. Okay, no, I'll get that to you.
Yeah, please.
I do have professional photos as well that I've
Fantastic.
had done for my website last year, so I can, yeah, I'll gather all
Oh,
that up and I'll send it your
and you
way.
have a website. I have seen in LinkedIn. You have a website.
Yes, I do.
We will include that as well.
Okay, perfect.
Like as I said, as we grow, all of our kind like contributors, they also grow. That's
Well,
our
thank
plan.
you. I really appreciate that.
And again, your service is so important. I just want to connect my mom with you because she is also suffering. Her left knee specifically is
Oh,
very, very bad. And she is running 2 businesses in UK. So overall, it's like, yeah, so she will be very glad to help. So these are the things that you do it online. That's revolutionary
mhm.
and fantastic. Like every conversation we have, like I see it in this way. You can feel a person's energy and proactivity level. So I am feeling so much proactivity after talking to you.
Aw, well, thank you.
Thank you for
That's
that.
so
Look,
kind.
no, that is absolutely what I'm feeling. And my team also agrees. So thank you for being with Magazico. We are starting very humble. We are starting very lean starting that we call. It's a startup. But
Mhm.
thank you very much for helping us.
Oh, you're so
It's
welcome.
so kind.
You're helping me too, so I really
Yeah.
appreciate it
It's
so
so
much.
kind. It's so kind. No, it is our idea that at the end of that's our vision. Our vision is health, hope, happiness.
Mhm.
That's our vision. So we want to build a network of very proactive, service-oriented, and very philanthropic doctors, specialists, medical technicians, those who provide service with money, doesn't matter, but their intention is very well.
Mhm. No, that's wonderful. I love that. That's the things I'm all excited about. So,
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see how we can put it all together. Let's check our editorial policy and everything, but let us have those information with us.
you
Like
bet.
any person, if they want to touch base with you regarding your program and anything, we want to be with that.
Wonderful. Well, thanks
Okay.
again, Simon. I hope you have a really good rest of your day and
Yeah,
weekend.
you too. You too. Thank you. Thank you. And being in Saskatchewan, you can connect to the whole North American world. Doesn't matter. So please, and thank you for your service to the society.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
as
very
well,
much.
Simon.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you very
care.
much. Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye. Bye.